credibility with us, with our guys. We share their stuff. We help them build the credibility. They have the clout. Then they go to the Jews and they're like, look at all this clout I have with the people you need to influence. Pay me 10 G's and I'll help you influence them.
Yeah.
So this is why I don't want to work with anyone, because I can't trust people to not fucking do this. Every fucking time, every person that I've helped pull through the ranks, that I've helped popularize or anything, 90% of them end up selling out and then turning on us. That's every fucking time. So at this point, I'm just like, I can only trust myself and one or two other people to do this work. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it. I can't trust these people. It's not paranoia to say this. Okay? A lot of them are taking money, and the worst part is they don't disclose it. They don't disclose it. And you start seeing like subtle, at first it's like subtle changes in their narratives. And the way people interpret it, because they're naive and infantile, is like, oh, maybe you just need to debate him.
Oh, well, we were talking about this. I've gotten like a nose for this shit. Like I could smell it. I could smell it a mile away when it narrative. Usually it starts with
smell the shekels on your hands.
It's usually the omission. It's usually omission, like sort of quiet on certain subjects. Not talking about it. I mean,
they used to talk about it and then they don't.
Well, Emily was, she's totally moved on from the Will Stansel obsession, and she's like, I hate that guy. He's just like, Patrick Casey. We were joking. He's just a leftist Patrick Casey. But what's particularly disgusting about him is that for all his like typical libtarded shit about how Trump is a fascist and Nazi and he hates white supremacists, he doesn't say a word about Israel. He doesn't criticize Israel at all. And he never will go hard on that question. So, that to me is, the guy is taking money from Jews. Like, that's how the guy is taking money from Jews. He taxed Nazis, doesn't mention Israel. I mean, case closed, right? And you get to see this. You really can. It's also something when you see people talk about like, concern trolling about, talking too much about the JQ, you're just obsessed with the JQ. I saw that fucking guy, Thultide. He put out something the other day that was basically just like, the too long didn't read could have been just, I am a Jew or I take money from Jews. Let me see if I can find it. It's the Strikers. It was on Telegram. He said, I don't want to spend all of my time infighting. It's actually very annoying. I prefer to dedicate my time to other things, but I feel compelled to do it because I've noticed the dissident right was being driven off the rails, and it seemed like nobody was willing to instigate infighting or even mildly criticize DR talking heads. The DR has extremely cult-like behavior whereby media personalities become deified. They gather up a small following of dedicated fans who hang on their every word and then viciously gatekeep their audience by accusing any critics of being feds or whatever. Then he says, Thultide. Then he says this. I've seen invariably it gets dragged down insane and counterintuitive paths. In the past couple of years alone, I've seen people shilling for Stalinist USSR as Litrad utopia, shilling for Islam, including the Islamic conquest of Europe, shilling for Chi-Coms and socialism in general, trying to ally with base leftists who do not exist and never did, calling people anti-white because they don't care about Palestine or some other third world tribal conflict, spending all time trying to